Itu bisa ada.
Good morning, Team Kericho. Just be patient. Let's all mute. We will be starting shortly. Kindly.
Apa ini? Ini kan? Ya pandai. Pasapagi pending.
Elijah Langat, kindly mute yourself.
Sawa.
Taiwan. Taiwan. Belum ya? Tadi. Belum ya? Bisa langsung sih kamu. Nah itu kita kan.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Stephen Parkwang. I'm actually a chemistry trainer, and I'm a team leader for the purpose of this training. Okay, so you're most welcome. With me, we are having a members of the facilitators as well as the ICT team. I will take this opportunity to welcome them. But first of all, I want to welcome you to a very fruitful online session that we are going to undertake for today and tomorrow. And I'm very optimistic that we shall be able to cover module unit 4, 5, and 6, just a review, a reflection of what we had already covered earlier on. And therefore, it's going to be a reminder, but we shall engage you mostly to undertake a lot of activities. But before that, I want to introduce a team of facilitators that are going to work with me today and tomorrow. So first, let me welcome Madam Rebecca to introduce herself.
Good morning, participants. My name is Rebecca Muriuki. I'm glad to be here today and to see all of you logged in, and will be part of the facilitators. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Madam Rebecca. You're most welcome. She will be able to take you through Unit 6. Next, I want to welcome Dr. Grace Katuntu. You're most welcome, Dr.
Good morning. Good morning, participants. This is Grace Gatundu, and I'm excited to meet you again. And looking forward to having a good closure with you. And congratulations for being position 1. You're doing well. You're doing well. Thank you for that. Karibuni.
Thank you, Dr. Now I want to welcome the team who are going to be with us, supporting us, and this PPOP team. I want to begin with Martin Njeru, OGW.
Yeah, so good morning, Kericho team. We are glad to meet virtually. I am glad you could make time to actually join in good numbers. I think currently we are at 27 in terms of the Kericho team. And as my colleague, Dr. Grace said, let me also join her in congratulating you for being the first ones to complete this time. I think the gifts came in very handy. The traditional prayers we got, I think, were the blessings, were a blessing to all of us. So I am excited to be here and to see what will happen today. I would urge us to continue practicing etiquette, to relax, not to panic, even when there's any technical issue. We are here ready to solve and sort you out as soon as anything happens. Let us I will urge all of us to try and use the chat forum If you have any query, if you have any comment, if you have any issue, so that we don't distract when the presenter is making presentations. And then there will be a lot of guidance provided by Sam for any activities that we will be embarking on. So I wish you all the best and looking forward to the experience. It is a learning also for us, and it's as much as we hope it is a learning experience for you. So thank you very much, and back to the chair of the day.
Thank you, Martin. You can also welcome your colleague to greet us.
Yes, so this morning I'm joined by one of my colleagues. She will introduce herself so that I don't preempt.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Oyuke. I'm in charge of communication at VVOB. We never got to meet physically, but I'm really, really proud of the fact that you have come. Of course, I keep seeing the updates. Kericho seems to be leading and shining, so I'm really excited to be part of this team this morning. Just to hear from you, even as you conclude this last leg, just to pick the learnings that you have had, and to even see how I'll be able to amplify some of your stories even as we go along. But in the meantime, congratulations for the fact that you have come, and wishing you a very fruitful next few days. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Mary. Let me welcome, although the technical ICT technical team is all of us for the most of our training. So, Sami, most welcome.
Good morning, team. Once again, we are proud of you, Team Kericho. You make us proud. You promise, then you fulfilled what you promised to us. We are proud of you. I'm Samuel. I will be with you technically this meeting, this closure meeting. So feel much welcome as we continue. I wish you all the best as we continue to the session as we continue with our today's session. Also welcome. So back to you, Mr. Ngetich.
Thank you, Sami. I was simply doing a consultation here. And before we get to the next activity, which is going to be climate setting, but possibly I would let me share the program. I believe I have this program. Let me share the program, and then I can be able to guide you through, because that is going to assist us mostly on what we are going to do. I hope this is going to be okay. Sorry, yes. All right. So I'm sharing the program so that I can briefly guide you on what we are going to have, because that is key. I hope you are able to see my program. Yes. So we have done with the preliminaries. Part of it is introduction. Then climate setting is going to be taken through by my brother Martin briefly. But after that, then we shall we shall have a review of Unit 4. Then that which will take 9:30 to 11. Then from 11 to 11:30, we shall have health break. And this is a good opportunity for us, those who have, I know most of you have started this session very early, but we shall have that period, 30 minutes possibly break, that you can charge your phones. You can also recharge your bundles. Then we shall come back to review module Unit 5. Sorry, I'm used to modules. Then after that, tomorrow we are going to have a set of, how you are seeing my My screen is clear with the timetable. Yes. I'm
Yes, we
notified.
can see.
Yes, thank you so much. So tomorrow we are going to have that program, which I'm going to guide you tomorrow. But for now, I think you should be very clear on what we are going to have in terms of the climate setting, which you are going to take right away. Then a review of Unit 4, then a break, then a review of Unit 5, then we shall call a day. And I welcome you. What is very interesting and mostly useful for online sessions are interactions, participation, and I call upon you to be perspective, and in case of anything, full participation is called for. So I want to welcome you, and let me welcome my colleague, my brother, Martin, take us through the climate setting. Okay, I'm pulling down my sharing. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Bwana Barkwang. So in terms of climate setting, I think much of the work actually has been done by our able team lead, Mr. Barkwang, in terms of first and foremost, giving you a laydown of the program of the day. So again, it is a half-day program, but with a 30-minute break in between the two sessions. So we are going to have two sessions today, which is a review of Unit 4 and a review of Unit 5. In between, we will have a health break, and that health break serves several purposes. You can quickly recharge your phone. You can quickly recharge your bundles. You can also, at that time, try to get energized. Maybe grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee. No, tea specifically. I'm so sure Kericho is tea. And then, yeah, rejoin at the time. So we will be using concurrently both Zoom and WhatsApp for any communication, especially during the break, to just notify you that we are back. What I'd advise from you is what I said initially. One, let's make use of the chat. Let's make use of any interactive feature as we will be guided during the activities. We want to make this as fun as and as productive as when we have the physical. You remember during the training, I mentioned that this is also face-to-face, and this is where the world is moving to. So I want you to take it with a positive attitude, take it as a learning, not only for professional development, but even for just personal growth in terms of capacity, because this is where the world is going to. I am so sure you are all joining from various locations. We are also in a different location, not in Nairobi, but at the same time, we can have this virtual session. So let's take it as a learning. Let's take it positively, and let's reach out and communicate using the chat. If you have any query, do not unmute if you're not asked to unmute kindly. Again, depending on where you are, I would not advise you to turn on your video, because again, turning on your video may impact on your bandwidth or your bundles, let's say. So because we want you to have an effective session where you are listening to the facilitator, you're joining all the activities necessary. So long as you are online, we don't need necessarily to see you, but you will be seeing your facilitators, which is part of the standard procedures for online learning. So I wish you well. And for this one, the timekeeping for this time, we will be doing it on our side. So we don't need to appoint any timekeeper, but we may need a spiritual leader from your side. And I think the team lead will talk about that. We just appoint that so that we didn't start with prayer, but I think before the first session, we need to start with a word of prayer. And again, if for any reason at all, you are logged off during the session, for one reason or another, do not panic. Just go back to the link, click it, and rejoin. I repeat, if for one reason or another, technically, you are logged off, don't panic. Go back to the link where it was, or restart your phone and click on the link, and it will take you back in. But let's try as much as possible to hang in there and be very active. And I wish you all the best at this juncture. So we'll be here to support in case of anything. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. That's great, Martin. If it was a physical session, we would have said you have run through the norms, and that is net etiquette, which you have already taken us through. For us to be successful, we shall call upon you to observe that, and we shall proceed well. I'm also reminded, as Martin talked, it's like we never began with prayer, and therefore I will be able to identify a spiritual leader who will be able to assist us. Start now with prayer, and possibly at the end of the day, close with a prayer. Then tomorrow, we might also appoint another one for tomorrow. So can we get a volunteer, please? And the one who is going to take you the first session, therefore. Once you are done with that, then I'll be grateful to welcome you to the first session. A volunteer, please. Can we have anybody? I've not even seen a hand up. And we have somebody who is commissioned. We must be having a pastor. Beatrice is already there, so unmute Beatrice and go ahead. Beatrice, just click on your mic to unmute, then proceed to pray. Okay, welcome. Welcome, madam. Unmute. We are not hearing you. We are not hearing you.
Oh, okay, let us pray.
Okay.
Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we want to thank you this morning. Thank you, Lord, for the gift of life that you have given us. We want to thank you for this training. Thank you, Lord, for our facilitators. Thank you for the participants. Be with us, O Lord, as we begin this session. Guide us, give us your Holy Spirit to guide us, to be with us in everything. We pray, Lord, in Jesus' name, and we trust in you. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. Thank you and be blessed.
Amen.
Okay. So welcome to the first session, and this is have I shared? I have not shared. Okay, let me share my screen and then I begin. And I hope I'm not very fast. Okay. Is my screen clear? Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's clear.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I believe I'm talking to education managers. Okay.
Just a quick one. Just a quick one before Mr. Bartwang embarks on the training, on the session, is that for in any case, if you cannot see the slides clearly, try to zoom in depending on your ability, or the strength of your eyesight. You can zoom in or rotate your phone. Sawa sawa. So you can rotate your phone or zoom in on your side. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. So I was saying that apart from you being our participants, I believe I'm also handling education managers. and at different levels from the head teachers to senior teachers, and therefore we are participating in this effective resource management. All the resources are at our disposal, and to facilitate teaching and learning process, the resources are very useful, and therefore how we utilize these resources is key. And that is why I wanted us to go through identification, utilization, and effective use of these resources in our institutions. And therefore, this is the nature of the activity in which I'm going to take you through. The outline will be like, I'll do a bit of introduction, then thereafter we shall get into an activity, and then this activity is going to take us 20 minutes. Then after that, we are going to have a breakaway rooms where we are going to handle procurement, risk management. Then we shall give you greater period of time to give us your feedback. And when you go back, you go to break rooms, then you are going to identify a leader and a secretary who will document that. Then you choose one person who is going to make the presentation. Then we shall have extended learning activity, a review of it, which will take 5 minutes. Then we shall conclude. We shall make a conclusion, which will take 5 minutes. So you are most welcome. And I wanted to say, although I had already begun discussing this, that when we come to the concept of resource management, then we say resources are quite available in our institution. Some are provided by the government. Some are also provided by the parents. Some are even natural, because sometimes as teachers, we are being called upon to be innovative. And when you become innovative, that is the time when you're called upon to make use of the available resources that are provided by the environment. And to be successful in the identification, utilization of the resources, then you have to take yourself through the school planning process. And there are so many. In fact, we shall explore many approaches of planning in our institutions, because we are looking at a classroom setup. We are looking at instructional learning process, and you as education managers, you are instructional leaders who are charged with the responsibility of planning for a successful teaching and learning process. So we shall expose ourselves to the planning documents, and then we shall also expose ourselves to possible preparation of documents that are necessary, but more so are those ones which are related to resource management in the institution. Key also is financial literacy. In terms of sourcing for funds, utilization of funds, and accounting for those funds is also very important, because we cannot say resources are not available, more particularly the funds. What is key is not the amount of finances that an institution have. What is key is the utilization of the available funds that are available in that institution. And at the end of it, again, if you want to establish prudent financial management, is where it resonates with the learning outcomes, that the learning outcomes must be desirable. Again, which is very important, is public procurement and stores management. So possibly you cannot be able to acquire those, because when you talk of procurement, it is actually the acquisition of those resources, teaching and learning resources. And you must follow a procedure that is acceptable in terms of following the rules and the regulations that are laid down relating to procurement process. Other than that, again, it is important to also manage those stores, because the resources that we have acquired through procurement process must be maintained. So stores management is also key. And that is why in some institutions you are being told to maintain central stores or decentralized stores. I think there will be some discussions to the extent that which is desirable, central stores or decentralized stores. At the same time, it is also very important to undertake risk assessment in the institutions, because institutions are bound to face some risks, and therefore it is very important to assess which types of risks that are likely to occur in your institutions. So that I get a view of your feelings in this area of topic before we get to the activities, is that through your chat, I wanted us possibly to identify some of the key resources that are useful in our institution that we need to manage. So I wanted us to go into our chats. Sorry. My screen is still, okay. So I wanted us to check into go to our chat and then be able to identify resources. Just like an overview of what I've said, so that we are together. Identify around 3 kind of resources that we need to manage in our institutions. 3 resources. And when you are chatting, you are simply naming them. I can even mention a few, like you can say land, land, which other one? But they must relate to teaching and learning resources in our, teaching and learning process in our institutions. Yes. I want to see the charts. Possibly, okay. Okay, the charts, furniture, classroom furniture, thank you. Thank you. Infrastructure, books, school compound, yes. Thank you. Land, human resource, laptop and desktop. Yes, good. I think that is very important, and therefore I wanted us to also look at something else again. Thank you for that. Now, possibly again, what are some of the instruments that we need in planning? Possibly we can get into our chat again. You are doing well. What are some of the tools that we require in our planning? because these are relating with all those resources you have mentioned: infrastructure, finance, human resource. Then what are some of the tools that we require in this planning? Okay, you can mention two. A budget is coming, strategic plans. Wow, that is great. Budget is also being mentioned. Which other? Somebody is talking of POM. POM what now? Would it be their minutes or whatever? Staff allocation facilities. Thank you. Yes. Annual budget, strategic plan, approvals of strategic plans, correct. Circulars from the ministry, yes. School improvement plan. I think that is also great. Thank you so much. ICT, gadgets. Thank you so much. Yes, I think we are doing well. We are doing well. I thought I was actually alone when I was making the discussion. Now, possibly before I get to something else, although I'm not preempting the activity you are going to do, but it's like a recap of what I was actually discussing. Then most of us are already practicing aid teachers, and possibly they may not have gotten the background of financial foundations, and therefore, what are some of the challenges that are facing the school leaders in terms of financial management? Because this is financial literacy. So what are these challenges? You can mention one challenge that faces, or that which you perceive, because you are actually education managers. As you manage our institutions, we are already done with identification of the resources. We have already seen the tools of planning. Therefore, what is it? Just mention one that you consider a challenge in terms of financial management in our institutions. Yes, let me check the charts. Yes, knowledge and skills relating financial, lack of resources, insufficient funds. Yes, thank you so much. POM illiterate on management. Yes, underfunding, navigating attitude from correct. Financial literacy, procurement process. Thank you so much. I like that. Economic conditions, debt management in our institutions, many pending bills, political influence, animosity from POM management. Yes, budgeting, limited resources. I think that is key. Bookkeeping literacy amongst the staff is key. Thank you so much. You are really in it now. You are in effective resource management, and financial literacy is now setting. Interference from sponsors, you are also finding in terms of resource. Financial transparency, poor capture of learners or names. Thank you so much. Whoever, Charles Kirui, you have mentioned something very important, because this has actually become a limitation in terms of the amount of capitation that we get from the ministry. Thank you, Kirui.
Welcome, sir.
You're already unmuting to appreciate. Thank you so much. Yes. Now, finally, to wind up, because I know the other issues will be discussed, I wanted us possibly, and this is a key, risk management in our institutions. We are bound to face some risks, and some of the risks, when they occur in our institutions, in the event of occurrences, then the impact the magnitude of the impact can actually be great to an extent that it can even interfere with the normal learning in the institutions. So I wanted us to identify some of the risks that are facing our institutions. I know we are dealing with you in Kericho, that some which risks that are more common in Kericho. Others are more common in the western region. Others are more common in the northern and even the coast region. But that which we find very common in our institutions, I mean, in our region that are facing our institution, because it is very important that we document, we identify and document them. So can we get into the chat again? Yeah. And I will appreciate these risks, because what is very important is be aware of it. Then after being aware, then we can be able to mitigate them. Yes, quite a number of them. Kilel, fire, theft, weather, and flooding. I know it is not like Putalangi. Maybe some parts of Kericho could be facing that. Lightning, yes, maybe where there is a lot of thunderstorms, Alfred. Then issues of depth of resources, petty, landslide, real, Oberia. And then Charles Kirui, infrastructure affected by too much rain, yes. Theft. So what is very common is theft, yes. Any other risks? Yes, incompetent POM, thank you so much. Even incompetence is also a risk. I appreciate that. Natural disasters, top, good. Gladys, you have mentioned something on domestic violence and drug abuse. It is real. Vested interest, yeah, vested interest, never. Good. That is also a challenge. Vandalism, Stephen, and attitude. Working on attitude, Samson Jepcoin, is also a challenge. Those are risks. Falling of trees during storms, and also they can also cause a lot of destruction. Family conflicts, singing pit latrines, and in fact, when you are looking at the environment and child-friendly, this is also key. Lack of support by parents. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I think I'm happy the way you have participated. Alcoholism, I hope it is not a major challenge, because also, in some ways it can affect also our institutions, because even the learners, because of that background, home background. Historical issues. I wish Samson, you would have highlighted which are these. Yes, patentry. Yes, particularly those, is it, we talk of Soensic or weight, those areas that are bordering where we are having cattle rustling. Yes, even this other side of it's not, I'm not very familiar, those sides of, I'm forgetting a bit, but it is real, it's real. Therefore, allow me now to move to the next slide. Thank you for the response. Thank you for that response. Now, now I wanted us to get to this activity, and let me rewrite it a bit. Sorry.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning, Esther Kimalit.
Yes, Esther is here.
Yes. You are having a challenge?
Yes, but I think I'm okay. Somebody has assisted me. I'm back now to the meeting.
Thank you, but I am seeing you taking tea, but we can wait a bit. Let's proceed. We're having an activity, yeah? Although some of those questions which I prompted I was actually requiring you to move with me so that we can do an overview of the areas that we were to cover. But now we want to have an activity, yeah? And this activity one is accounting documents and records. And then we want you to identify the accounting documents and records used by school leaders in your day-to-day operations, because you are the school leader. So which are these accounting documents and records that you use on day-to-day operations? So I want to welcome my team, the ICT team, to guide you on how to respond to that. Sammy, welcome.
Okay, once again, welcome. I would like to start the activity. Just the way we did it last time. Just go to chat box. You will see the activity 4. Just go to the chat box, Slido, you will see activity 4. And you hear your contribution there. Any queries, kindly test or you unmute, then you ask. The activity takes 20 minutes, so kindly can you type your answers? Go to the chat box, open Slido, then you test your answers there. There will be a test box. Yeah, then you can see Rosanna, vouchers, ledgers, cash books. Thank you, Rosanna. Merito, thank you. Edward, thank you. Wesley Langat, thank you. Eric Mutai, Charles Kungat, Wesley Langat, thank you.
Yami atenda ni mimi.
Thank you. I'm seeing the response. I'm seeing your response in the screen. Yes. Ellen Kimeto. David Rotich. Rosanna. These are the documents actually which you require. So of course you're familiar that you have various accounts that you're operating. And in these accounts, you are supposed to be having various cash books. And with the cash books, each of account must have a checkbook, various inventories. So Paul Kapketuan, you have already mentioned it. Thank you. Irene also, you have mentioned the payment, vouchers, cash books, receipts. Thank you. Paul Kakweto, bank statements. I remember also bank reconciliations are also key. While you're talking about bank statement, bank reconciliations are also required. Let's proceed. Continue typing.
Welcome.
Sally, just unmute. Kimalit, unmute. I'm also getting a response from a chat box, which is quite okay.
Masinde. Okay.
Masinde, kindly unmute. So we are having a payment vouchers, receipt books, cash books. Okay.
Mike.
Sorry, there is interference from the background. Okay.
Naona tumesaidiwa mahali nzuri sana. Mimi mgeni sijawahi ona hivyo.
Kindly, there's a member who is interfering with the session. Okay. All right. Merito, cash books, payment vouchers, correct. Charles Kurgat, checks, payment vouchers, and cash book and receipts. Eric Mutai, cash books, receipts, payment vouchers, ledger books. Yeah, these are the documents which are actually supposed to be used in financial management. Checkbooks, receipt books. I want to see, yeah, there is another one which is very important, and it is a requirement, particularly when they're reporting the financial statement. This is trial balance and bank statements. Thank you. That is Charles Kirui. Charles Kirui, you are doing well. You are doing well. We are having John Kibet, payment vouchers, ledgers. Even maintenance of ledgers are also very important. Rose Koros, payment vouchers, cash books, ledgers. Gladys Chirotich. We are talking of minutes book and then cash book. Never that I already read yours. David Rotich, I have also talked of cash books. Then Godfrey Tonui. What is new is also minute book. it is also required in audit, so that if there is expenditures which are met and it has gone through the board's approval, then it is indicated in the minute book. Estekmalit, financial records, personal notebook,
Possibly personal notebook.
possibly personal notebook,
Let's use a trap so that
unless
you
it is a trap so that you can be able to effect.
Okay.
Okay. Payrolls,
Payrolls,
particularly when you are paying POM employees. And remember also you are having casual workers, you are supposed to be having documents that you are using to make payment, like payment vouchers, daily expenditure record, cash books, fees registers, good. Kelel, you have done well by coming out with that fees registers. Thank you. Cherono Masai, good, you have brought in something else, grant records, cash flows, statement audit and reports, good. Thank you so much. Paul Kakwetonj, you have mentioned something which is very important also, like LPOs and LSOs. These are regarding supplies. Delivery books are also very important. Thank you. Irene Kimeto, something new is PAN financial statements. That's also good. Yes. Thank you, thank you. Actually, everyone has made a contribution. Thank you so much. I'm noting another document which is very important, which is financial balance sheet. Chief Kimoy from Kericho. Balance sheet is also very important, particularly you are reporting financial statement. Yes. Okay. Those of you who have not submitted, kindly submit something.
I want to see something
I want
new.
to see something new.
Because all of us,
Because all of us have made a contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is Irene Kimeto, you have mentioned on expense reports. Expense report. Kerono Masai, you have added reinforcement forms. Invoice expenditure. Nebat Abutaka.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have talked of it. IPSAS report. IPSAS is a new accounting procedure in accounting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
1 minute, I think.
1 minute, I think I'm almost closing. Stephen Periken.
You mentioned something with stock.
You have mentioned something with stock records. Stock record is also key. Thank you.
So we can.
Stop from there. We can now. Let me
share
my screen again. Now, you realize that the documents we mentioned, some of them are appearing here. I want to share the ones I have it here. Like whenever we are dealing with finances, then we are having receipts, we are having check registers, We have fees registers, which you have mentioned. Whenever we are making payments, payment vouchers are also key. Invoices, you don't make payment without having an invoice, because an invoice is a demand for payment. Cash books, remember I said for every account that you are operating, there is an independent or separate cash book for each account. Whenever you are reporting financial statement, and it's a requirement on monthly basis, you submit trial balance. Checkbooks, strictly institutions are asked to make payment with the use of checks, and therefore checkbooks are very important. Payment and payrolls, we are dealing with human resource, particularly those who we employ under the board or post of management. Then we have to have a payroll so that it indicates what we pay them as salaries or wages. Bank statement is also documents that we need to use to report our financial statements. Bank reconciliation, whenever we get a bank statement, it may not be a true picture of what balances have unless you do a bank reconciliation. Then we are having general ledgers, which are for every cash book, then there are ledgers which are being maintained. Okay. So if you look at it, you have mentioned all, but I appreciate the fact that you have added more. So it is not limited to this. So therefore, I wanted us to get to the next activity, which can involve the breakaway rooms. Activity 2, it is procurement and risk management. What I appreciate is that during our overview, I mentioned procurement process. Also, we have discussed risk management, and therefore you have information good enough to do this exercise. So you will find that the reference that we are going to make is on NESEP 2 of 2023 to 2027. And says to implement it and tackle disparities in access and learning outcomes, the Ministry of Education is building classrooms and integrated learning resources centers in junior schools. 1, identify various activities to be undertaken by the school leaders in preparation of the above project. Describe the procurement procedures that the school leader shall explore in undertaking the above project. Number 3, identify the possible unethical practices that can likely occur while undertaking the project. Identify the possible risks that can occur while undertaking the project. And this is a real exercise. I'm telling you, it's a practical example that you are likely to experience, or you might even have experienced sometimes back. So your contributions is highly appreciated. So I wanted us to consider this, that we shall take 50 minutes and we shall break into 4 groups, undertake the discussion for 15 minutes, Then we shall have the presentation made after the discussion, which we shall have at 35 minutes. So each group will be given 8 minutes to present in the plenary. So ensure as you go into the discussion, really document and try to exhaust the points, because we shall give you adequate time, and it is important that we share the knowledge, the experience that we have, and we shall be able to gain a lot. So possibly, I want to take this opportunity to Samuel to assist us arrange ourselves into groups. Then we shall break into those groups.
Thank you, Mr. Ngetich. I would like to break you into breakout rooms, 4 breakout rooms. So the first breakout room, you take the first question. I will be popping up into each breakout rooms, pasting, copy, paste the question once again for those who have not taken down the questions. So group 2 will take the second question, group 3 the third, and group 4 respectively. So I would like to break you into breakout rooms. It will join you automatically. So just click join. Once you see a pop-up screen on your gadget, just click to join.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Which group are we? Yeah.
Kericho group.
Madam, do you hear me? Now, members,
Hey,
which
yo,
group are we?
Kericho.
But
Kipkelia.
Kericho, you know, we
Kericho
were taken
Kipkelia.
to groups, eh? We were taken to groups within Kericho.
Kipkelia.
Okay,
How are you first?
I'm fine, thank you. Now, there is a
I'm
problem with these groups.
Uh-huh.
We were taken to groups, but it seems there is a challenge.
Even me, I've been facing this challenge of network and whatever.
Even me, I can't tell the group I was placed. But I see all
Oh,
the members now are back.
they are back.
Madam Flossie.
Yo,
Yes,
Madam,
we are
Madam
back.
Flossie,
We are
how are
back.
you?
we are back.
We are back.
We had been talking to
Hello,
you.
members.
Hello, team.
Hello,
Hello,
members. We
I'm
are back
fine.
to
How
the
are you
plenary.
all?
Kindly remain muted.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
remain muted.
Umesikia? Almost. Hello.
Welcome back to the plenary. Members, I hope each secretary is ready to present. I would like to start with Group 1. Who is the secretary in Group 1?
Our secretary.
The secretary.
Madam Irene is our secretary.
Yes.
Who
Let
is the
me begin
secretary?
speaking. Let me begin speaking. I'm the secretary, that is Irene Kimeto.
Welcome, Irene.
Thank you. Okay, our question reads, identify various activities undertaken by the school leaders in preparation for the above projects. In Group 1, we have identified the following as the main points. The first step, because the school project is within the school land, we have to first form a SIC committee to identify the site of building the projects and overseeing the project. Number 2, we seek approval from the Public Works Office and the Health Ministry on the suitability of the site. Number 3, the next is to open a specific account where the funds from the government will be channeled. And then next, we prepare tender adverts.
Sorry, Irene. Charles Kurkat, kindly mute. Okay, go ahead, Irene.
Thank you. I can go ahead. Point 4, preparation of tender adverts and tender documents and the BQ. The next, number 5, we award the tenders to the qualified bidders and contract. And before awarding of the tenders to qualified bidders, we convene what is known as an opening and evaluation committee. After the evaluation committee, I know one bidder will win. Then now we can award the tenders to the qualified contractor, whereby we are supposed now to sign an agreement between the contractor and the SIC committee. Then the contractor now begins the work, and it is the role of the school leader to supervise, to ascertain the correct materials are being used, and also the correct procedure according to the BQ is being followed. Then finally, we have, from time to time, we have the public works engineer continues to inspect the project. I think up to there, that is what we discussed in Group 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irene and the team. Thank you. That was a good presentation. And I appreciate the fact that you have followed step by step, right from the beginning, identification of the ground, assessment of the ground, up to the last stage. I've not had to, because does it involve the commissioning, the handing over of the project? Irene, you can still let me know. At what level are you ending?
It was limited to the stage.
We hadn't when you brought us back to the meeting. Otherwise, we would have finished up to the time where we are handing over the building.
That's why I was lost somewhere. I could not be able to reach the end. But given time, you can still.
If you gave us time, we could have finished.
I can give you 1 minute or 2 minutes.
Okay.
No discussion, but not.
I can
just
end it.
to conclude.
Okay. So up to there, I think after a regular inspection now, at different levels, we have the project is completed. And then after the project is completed now, we can commission it back to the ministry to come and inspect. If everything has been followed, then we do what is known as, I think the contractor is paid. And after the contractor is paid, there are some certain documents to be signed here and there to allow him to be paid. And after that, you can now have the returns. You can have even an opening, or we can have a ceremony to ascertain it.
It's called
Yes.
handing over. Handing
So
over.
the contractor,
Called handing over.
so the contractor cannot hand over now.
Can now
At what-
hand over. It's the final stage.
At what stage, as a head of the institution, hand over to the contractor?
At what stage does the head of institution hand over to the contractor? After
Yes.
signing the agreement and
Thank you.
having
Thank you.
the groundbreaking.
Thank you so much.
Can I add something small?
Thank you.
Yes. One more member. There's a member who wants to add. I can allow. Yes.
There is a very important thing that I think we should put across as a group.
Yes.
The signing of the agreement.
Yes.
That is done, witnessed by various stakeholders. We have the public works officer, the MOE representative, either sub-county director or can delegate. And then again, you as an institution has to have some witnesses. And then again, at the completion of the project,
yes,
we have the completion certificate that is supposed to be issued by the public works officer before the payment.
Correct. Thank you. Now, is there 1 minute? There's 1 minute. Is there any member other than a member of this group who could be able to add something that feels like we need to add? Because I hope everyone was listening. Yes. You are free to unmute. If you have, I need to have that window of opening to any member other than a member of the group. If there is something which, if you are listening, yes?
Okay.
Yes.
I can add something.
Yes.
Maybe what will happen to those, there's also a regret notice that is given to those who have unsuccessfully, those who are unsuccessful.
Yes.
Regret letters are sent to those members who are not successful also, so that they also feel they are part of it.
During the tendering process.
Thank
and in a window of appeal. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now we can go to the next group.
I have a question.
A question? Yes, he raised a question, and the member should be ready to respond. Yes.
Yes.
You are from which member? You are a member of which group? You are a member of which group?
Group 3.
Pass. The question is directed to group 1. Yes. Go ahead.
Group 1.
Yeah,
I've just heard that a member said the payment is supposed to be effected upon completion.
Yes.
I thought that payment is supposed to be effected in terms of stages, maybe up to slab, up to lintel, and then roofing.
Yeah, your question, can a member respond?
Respond to that?
Yes. Go ahead.
It will depend on the details of the agreement.
Right.
If the agreement states that we pay in 3 phases, which is a common practice, then you can do it according to the phases, but the public works officer gives a clean bill of health and that green light to do the payment if the agreement states that we pay on phases.
Correct.
But to be fair, in most cases, the reason as to why we want contractors that are successful bidders to have that muscle, it is usually good that you pay and very safe that you pay after completion.
Correct. And
that's
after certificate of completion is issued. Thank you so much. Can we sign of reaction? If you can go to the reaction, that group, can we put anything of appreciation? Go to that level there. There's somewhere where there is a sign of a heart. You can do a, can you do something? Click something to appreciate the group. Go to, there is a chat, next to the chat, there is a reaction. You react to it. Can you appreciate the group? Thank you so much. So can we move to group 2? Group 2? Secretary, group 2? Group 1 have done well. Group 2? Where's the chairman to welcome the secretary? I'm waiting for you. What is the problem? You can raise your hand if you have a challenge. You can be assisted from our end.
Yes, Geoffrey Tonu, can you go ahead? Are you the secretary? Who is the secretary, group 2?
Thank you, Bwana Barchok. Let me assist the group 2 to be the secretary, although time caught us before we appointed even the secretary.
No worry. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm Kurkat Charles, and our question was concerning the tender award. So on our discussion, we agreed that the first thing we are supposed to do is the financial committee to sit, then discuss about the tender. Once they have discussed about the tender, then from there now they will allow the secretary to draft the advert, whereby from there the advert will be allowed to be distributed around so that it can take the 14 days, so that those who are willing to apply for the tender can apply within that bracket of 14 days. Once the 14 days elapse, then the tender period for application will be closed. Then also the committee again will be set to open the tender. After the tender has been closed, the committee will sit. Now that is the opening committee, the opening tender committee will sit to discuss on how to open the tenders which has been applied. From there, the award committee will now evaluate on the tenders or the tenders which has been applied. Once they have got the one who has met the qualification, depending on the first step at the meeting of the members before awarding the tender was to know the amount of finance which has been allocated for the tender. So during the evaluation, they will now relate those who have applied for the tender with the value they have been allocated for that tender. So whoever will meet the qualification, then that is when now the award of the tender will be awarded to the person who has met the qualification, depending on his or her application. Remember, in his or her application, there are some information which are being checked there, including the PQ and other information. I think the first group and the second group report really intermarries. Yeah. So I think, yeah, the intermarries. So I think from there, after the award of the tender, that is when now the procedure will start now. For example, if it was a construction of a classroom, then the same procedure as our group 1 was talking about will now begin to start. Yeah. So they will be visiting the site, they will start the work. Then the stages in which my brother was talking about will start be now. If the stages of payment will be from after the foundation, then the first payment to muscle the contractor will be given, then it's well and good. Then the next procedure is now as from one as talked about. That's yes. What I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Charles, but you indicated that time you got up by time, but what is it that you never
the members did? Was in a problem to join the group. So that was the problem. Members took time to join the group. We only remain with around, I think it was 7 minutes.
But you have done well.
Thank you. I think I'm trying. For my side, I think I'm trying. Remember being also an administrator for the first time. Thank you.
Then you have talked out of experience. Now, can we have the other members? is there anything that can be added? The other members? Because I looked at Charles has actually made a big contribution. So do you think there's something that has been left out when you are looking at the procurement procedures up to the project level, the start of the project? Is there, I'm opening to the members. Charles has made his contribution. Can we add before we open to the other members from other
Yes,
groups?
I'm calling upon my group members to add something, please. Thank you.
You are campaigning, Charles. Yeah. Okay. Now it looks like the group have exhausted. Can we open to the other members? Because it's critical that you follow the procurement process keenly. Any other member from group 1, group 3, group 4 that can add any procedure that could be been left out by Gurgat? The room is silent. And remember, everyone is now in the hall. All right. Now, can we have, because that was actually brief. I then find the procurement procedure is not long. We might donate some minutes to the other group. Can we get group 3? Group 3.
Can we react first?
Yes, I needed that reaction, and the room was silent. Kilel, Robert.
In terms of giving them even a sign on the screen.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. You have reminded me. I will not appreciate it.
Sure, I was almost asking Mr. Barkios, why can't you appreciate me? Let the members even appreciate me for the
I'm Barkwang. I'm not the governor. Yeah.
You qualify also to be the governor.
Thank you so much. So now, can we go to reaction and appreciate the group? Thank you, Kelel. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that appreciation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. So I think that is done. Now we can move to group 3. Chairman, welcome the secretary of group 3. Yes.
Secretary to group 3, can you unmute yourself? Secretary group 3. Who is the secretary to group 3? Who is the secretary to group 3?
They have a challenge of unmuting.
Secretary group 3, Esther Kimalit.
Who is the secretary?
Already named Esther Kimalit.
Esther.
If they are not ready, we can go to group 4, then we come back to them later. Group 4 is the secretary. Group 4?
I'm ready. Group 3.
Okay.
And actually,
continue?
Just a bit, Esther, you know, group 1, group 3, group 4, all these processes are built into it. They are built into each other, so we could not jump to group 4. So Esther, you are most welcome.
Thank you. I'm Esther Imali. Let me represent my group, group 3. In this group, we were supposed to discuss the unethical activities that can take place during the process of tendering and having the project. So first, we saw that in one of the areas that is sometimes it is not done, and it is very important, is lack of advertisement. So when a project is not advertised, A very few people will pollute and they can go changing activities and doing it the way they want. So we saw it is very important for an activity to be advertised.
Sorry. What? Who is it? Ellen?
Alfred
Kindly.
Boyon. Alfred Boyon, kindly mute, please.
Ellen,
Can I
can you
continue?
also, Ellen, can we have members muting? Yes, thank you, Ellen. Go on, Esther.
Okay, lack of advertisement, and then also there is a lot of conflict of interest. When the project has been advertised, we see some people having interest, especially maybe some BOM, they have their relatives with companies and they would want them to be awarded without following the rightful procedure or even looking at the qualifications of those people they have interest. Lack of transparency also, by not being able to let the community or everybody concerned know the amount of money that has been slotted for that project. So in this case, the amount of money is hidden so that a project can be done halfway or in a short way, and money can be squandered in a way that it is not going to produce a quality work. And then also, some POM are biased because maybe because of their own reasons, they would like to lead a way that is giving out the tenders to people, maybe they have taken money from those people. And then also there is a lot of corruption starting from the source of the money. Like those people who are working with the CDF, mostly, they would like to take upon the project so that they don't do the biting the rightful way or even looking at the qualifications of the constructors. Also, during the purchase of materials, we realized that some constructors, they go for low quality so that the outcome of the project may not maintain the expected standard. Also, unethical practices that can be done during this process is lack of public participation, like informing the parents the project that is going on in their school. So after that, you find out some parents, they don't support the project or they don't own the project in the school, and it can bring problems to the aid teacher. I think that is much we were able to collect for today. Thank you. This is group 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther and the group. You made great presentation and well thought out points, because if you listen to it, those are real, and possibly what we can carry home is how do we mitigate those challenges, because they are real and they are unethical practices that are already there, or they might also occur. So any other member of the group who could add something, because possibly as Esther was presenting, some ideas could have emerged. So can we have any other member of the group?
Okay, this is Betty.
Yes, Betty.
From group 3.
Yes.
Another problem may arise whereby the government has given allocation of that money.
Yes.
And there is no land resource for the construction of the same. So we have witnessed those kind of challenges maybe lately, where the school is given funds, and then on the ground, there is no particular space to do the construction. That is really a challenge.
Yeah, but Betty, I don't know how do we place that one, because can we place it? It cannot fall under
It's not
unethical. I think that is a risk. We can donate
But
that point to the next group, because actually what you do with money that has come and you don't
Yeah.
have the ground to build on, and you cannot also, you don't have an option of using the money to buy the land. That is real. I like that point, but I don't know whether a group 4 will accept to to be donated a point.
So they'll give me something small, and then that point will get into their points too.
Thank you. Now, can I open to the other group? Any
Hello.
other point? Yes, John Kibet.
Before you move to the other group, maybe on what our secretary has said on corruption. Yes, mostly I hope I'll be protected there. There is the issue of kickbacks, whereby the office of the manager, or maybe the CDF manager or the MP, they allocate you some amount, and then later on they require some kickback, and then at the end of it, that amount may not go to the project which was supposed to be, or which was meant to be completed. So that is an issue of corruption.
Yeah.
And it is something which is so bad in some parts. I don't want to be specific.
Yes, Esther had actually alluded to that, and you are emphasizing, you are reinforcing on the same, and therefore, that is something which I was saying. The key thing, other than naming or mentioning them, is thinking about how do we mitigate them so that in future we can be able to cap that practice. So thank you for that addition. Thank you so much. So can we move to the last group? Group 4.
I want to request whether I can add something that I purport to be a point.
Why are you doubting, Gilel?
But as, what I had also indicated is we can always use the chat, because we may not all necessarily have time to comment verbally, but let's take advantage of also the chat for any additional points we may need to have. Because we also guided with time. Yes.
All right.
But you can mention Gilel because you're already on air.
There is issue of arm twisting by a superior office. We could be being involved with other stakeholders in the tendering process. Then maybe there is a superior stakeholder that may, in one way or another, twist and dictate the whole process.
Thank you, Gilel. When we started looking at unethical, some of those things are even not desirable to hear, like the one you are mentioning, and therefore they are unethical. So we can leave at that. Okay, thank you. So group 4. Group 4. Members who are ready. Who was that?
I can group 4. I'm Cherono.
Yes. Cherono, welcome.
Cherono Masai.
Yes, Masai.
The question is, identify the possible risks that can occur while implementing the NESSP.
Yes, go ahead.
And we found out that funding, number one, is funding shortfalls, insufficient funding. That is, the funds are not enough. It can be funds for purchasing materials for learning. It can be funds for constructions. We find always that it's not enough. And then number 2, construction delays. In case of constructions, we find that it is not done fast or faster as per our expectations. So it normally delays, and we find that we miss even classrooms where our learners can be accommodated in. So it has been a very big challenge.
Yes.
Number 3, quality control issues. That is majorly, we have during constructions, it is always poor. Constructions of classrooms not done well. So that is a major challenge. Resource allocation inefficiencies. It's almost like the other points, because we find that the way they allocate the resources, it's inefficient. It's not satisfactory at all. And then another point is accessibility disparities. There is a lot of disparities when they are allocating these resources. These big schools or schools which are seen to be better than others, the resources are more than the poor ones. So the poor ones will always remain poor. And then we have maintenance challenges. That is lack of management. After they allocate these resources, managing it is not satisfactory. It's done very poorly, whereby at times like construction, they leave contractors for long without managing. Then reaching there, they discover that they have messed up and there is nothing they can do. And this one can lead to deterioration of facilities. And then we also have community resistance. Like the CPC program, the community were not ready to receive that one. So there was a lot of resistance. They could not support the thing so that it grows, because they were not ready to receive these new curricula. And then the last one is inadequate training. Teachers, parents have never been trained on anything concerning what this should be done, on how this should be done. So they always lag behind, wondering on what they are supposed to do. So I was feeling that in the near future, they can also train the teachers, they can train the parents on the same, so that they are ready to support. So those are the points for Group 4.
Thank you so much. And I like the way you have presented, because you have clustered, because what we were looking at the risks. So the areas that you have mentioned are the grounds where risks are likely to occur. I like the way the group have thought it, because that is a wider area of perception, which not everyone can be able to be at that level. So thank you so much. Now, there, maybe I can open to the other members of the group to possibly, I know they could, the perception of the risks, because you are looking at the construction up to the completion. What are the risks? And I like the way you have looked at the beginning, where interests are there, up to the end, the maintenance, and even community, public participation, not involvement and rejection. So I like that. So what are the views of other members as we close that discussion?
Okay, hello, I'm Stephen Langat.
Yes, Langat.
I want to add on what Madam has, I was in the group before.
Yes.
We also have the health and safety risks.
Correct.
Especially when we are undertaking this kind of projects, which sometimes affects the people who are maybe, like for example, the workers and the rest. We also have the technological risks. Sometimes there are new technology that's supposed to be implemented in the project.
Yes.
So if the contractor is not having any know-how, automatically they might not maybe undertake the project properly. Okay. Another thing is that we also have the communication risks, whereby if there is no much communication between the contractor, maybe the school and other stakeholders, automatically the project may not be able to be done as is expected. So another thing is operational risk. We also have the operational risk, whereby the systems sometimes kind of maybe, like for example, the machines that are being used there sometimes may not be operating well and all that. Otherwise, we also have the skill and the skill resources, and also performance. And of course, maybe I could also want to request the other member who had also donated a point to this particular group 4 on the land and space.
So you are now accepting.
I have the same. I'm accepting, and I want to request her to maybe give her that point. Land is a problem.
Thank you for
whereby
accepting my point.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Mr. Makwang.
Thank you, Stephen. You are making another presentation. I thought it was a different group. It's like group A, group B of group A. Yes. So that was enriching. That was enriching, and I think the group have done very well. They have done very well. So thank you for that contribution. Allow me, please, if I may move to the next activity, which I don't know whether you have thought about it. This is, if I can share my screen, allow me, because I want to wind up by looking at screen. I want to look at extended learning activity, which sorry. Is it the screen is in? Yeah. Okay. It's already there. Okay. So that is my screen, and I wanted us we look at it, review of extended learning activity. So we can take a few minutes by looking at it, identify strategies, and I like this. It is very important. Identify strategies which a school leader and you as a school leader can implement to effectively allocate resources in alignment with the school goals and priorities, ensuring optimal utilization and improved educational outcomes. So you can look at, maybe I wanted somebody, you can spend that time, even 1 minute, 2 minutes. Just write strategies that you can use to allocate resources and align those to the school goals or objectives or priorities, so as to realize optimal utilization and also improved learning outcomes. I've paraphrased because educational outcomes, what is key is actually the learning outcomes. So can we be able to just put down, you can get around three points or 3 strategies. What can you do so that with these resources that we have, can we allocate in line with our school goals or objectives with a view of maximum utilization at the same time realizing the learning outcomes? And you'll find that school performing. A school performance is a reflection of prudent utilization of its resources. So I want you to put down possible strategies, and I can limit to 3. You can take time to, and I'll sample 3 people to share with us. Then these are the instructions. Possibly we shall pick later, we shall get direction about it. But I will sample 3 people to share with us on what are these strategies that once we use, possibly it can yield positive learning outcomes. I'm giving you 3 minutes. 3 minutes or 1 minute, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Who is ready? I can still pick on somebody who is ready. Anybody ready? So who can share? I want to pick on 3 people. Oh, Emily is already there. And then I will give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes to share. Emily, you can unmute. And then the next one will be Pore. Number 2 will be Pore. So Emily, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barkon. So on this issue,
yes,
we have the military guidelines, that is the 4/8, that as school leaders we need to follow. We have the POM minutes. In case of anything that we have to go not as by the 4/8, the POM could sit and look on school improvement plan priorities and follow what is needed. The priority that is needed urgently should be used, should be minuted and utilized accordingly. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you. But Emily, your starting point, suppose you start with the need, maybe
yes.
who requires, then from there now you take the rest process.
That is why I'm seeing on the school improvement
okay,
plan.
okay. Yeah, I agree totally. If you have mentioned that document, school improvement plan, then you have already identified the need. Can we go to Bore? Thank you, Emily. Thank you for sharing. And when it comes to the presentation in the other document, the other requirement, you will be able to do well. Now, Bore.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, and Irene will be the last, yeah? I want to make that order. So you are the second one, then Irene. So 2 minutes, Bore. We are
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, quite
so
well.
I think one of the best requirement, maybe on the best way of utilizing the available resources, is when the school develop a strategic plan. When the school has a good strategic plan, that will be a guiding principle. When any money comes to the school, it will be upon the POM now to analyze their strategic plan and utilize the resources as per the need assessment of that time. So I want to believe that plan should be there so that the POM will be able to utilize the plan for the improvement of the school. Every time that they meet, they will be able to see the needs of the school at that time. And if they will follow the procedure laid down by the Ministry of Education and all the guidelines and principles that they have been given to schools, I want to believe all these resources will be utilized for the better outcome of the school. Thank you so much.
I like the way you are starting. The principle, the cardinal rule in the planning is the strategic plan. Then the others follows. Thank you so much. Bore, you have done well. Irene, you can conclude. Irene, unmute. 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think what I think is that we have a clear vision and goal for the school. By all stakeholders are involved. These stakeholders includes the BOM, the community, the sponsors, and the parents. Then the school has to develop clear quality policies and procedures in everything they do. That is now the school improvement plan. And then in every procedure, let us involve the learners because the basic outcome of everything
involves. And then on regular basis, let us have the self-assessment, conduct self-assessment so that you can ascertain whether the things which have been put in place are done according to the established goals for the school. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irene. I like your thinking. Your thinking is full of clarity. You begin with a vision, stakeholders, the procedure, and then assessment. That is great. So I think I've sampled the best people, and the others I hope I've also left it the most best one. If I continue giving everyone opportunity, then I'll get the best. So thank you so much. I think we have come to the end of our presentation of review of Unit 4. Be blessed, and thank you for your contribution. It was a blessed session. Thank you. Let me welcome to conclude. Thank you, members. I'm seeing numbers are increasing. Emily, you have done well. Can we call those members? We are starting right away. I want to welcome Nana Tatantaktari, Dr. Grace Katundu, who is a specialist in this area of wellness and Lana and staff welfare. So, Daktari, most welcome, and take us through this session.
Thank you, Mr. Barkwang. Good morning, participants. It's another big day. We've been meeting, we've been talking, we've been sharing a lot. Once again, I will still retaliate that Kericho, you did it. We felt part and parcel of what you did, and you topping all the other counties tells us that that is the caliber of school leaders that we have in Kericho County. Yeah, and I'm also telling myself that the e-portfolio and the reflective journal mutamaliza vizuri sana, because where you are, we can say that you're doing well. We now got to look at teachers and learner welfare, and learners and staff welfare, and it is a recap. We did a lot of this. We talked a lot about it, and it took a lot of time, but it's good. We need to see what is it? Have we internalized? The reason that's why we do the review is so that by the time we are finishing this, we are telling ourselves that we have internalized this. Otherwise, kusoma tunaweza kusoma. We can all read, we can do a lot, we can have a lot of notes, but by the end of the day, what trickles down to the schools, what trickles down to the child of Kenya, that is what matters. And I would like us to now look at this welfare in its enormous, in its big way, that it's not just about the learners. It's not just about the other workers. It's also about you, the head teacher, you, the person in charge of the school. What is it that you think about when it comes to your welfare? Do you think about yourself? You carry so much from other people. Do you carry yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Because we can't do so much for the school, that is the learners and the other workers and the teachers, and you forget yourself. And so that's why we are saying it's very important for you to know where you are, to always know that you can only give people what you have. So if you're well in your own way, in your own capacity, you're taking care of your wellness, it also means that every other person you're working with, they are also well, because you give what you have. You give what you are able to, unachopeana ni kile ulicho nacho. So you can only give people what you have worked on. And so that's why even when we are looking at all the learners, we are thinking about the learners, we are thinking about all the other workers, we should also be thinking about you, because you are the person who carries the school. On the other hand, we'll also
be looking at safety measures and the security measures that we ensure that they are there in school. And the question is, where do you need to think about that? Where do you think? Where do you need to think about the security of the learners? Where do you need to think about safety? And what are the aspects of security that you look at? What are the aspects of the safety of the learners and of the school that you look at? And it is good that for you now as an education manager to sit, tabulate, put down the things that you need to be looking at when it comes to the safety of the learners. What are those aspects of safety that you are talking about? When it comes to the security, what are the aspects that you need to put down? And you might find that some just even emanate from our own homes. They emanate from where we are coming from. They emanate from the school compound itself. So check all the areas. See, what is it that can happen in a school? What is it that could be happening at home with our learners, with the teachers, and with the workers? And again, when we look at all that, we also need to look at what is it about capacity development of all of them, be it your workers in your school, be it about the teachers. What do you think about their capacity development? Again, how do you manage management of workers in your workstation? And that is not an easy thing. When you're managing every other thing, and you're also looking at your teachers, your workers individually, and you're imagining what is it that you require in the management of the people you're working with. What do they require? What are they expecting from you? Because you'll find there are very many things that they'll be expecting from you. And kama vile tulivyosema tulipokuwa tunaanza, tulisema the first person who gets the blunt of it all, it's you, the HOI. It is you we look at. It is what you do that informs where we will be as a school. I would like to share the screen, and we see where we were at that time and where we are at this time. And I'm welcoming all your ideas. This one is not a learning. It's about a discussion. It's about sharing ideas and sharing issues of where we are, where we've come from, and what we have started with. And even when you're looking at this, we will be asking ourselves, what am I required to do? For me as a manager, what am I required to do? We're still disabled. A minute, please, colleagues. So as someone is checking on my sharing of the screen, we need to look at those three aspects, think about them, and remember, by the end of the day, it is not about how well your school is performing. It is about how the people you are working with are, how the learners are, how the teachers are, and how the other workers are in your school. And so let me share this screen, and we see something, we talk about something, and we see what is it that we want to look at. In this, we will have a few things that we'll be looking at. We have already started with the introduction, so I'll not say that one will take a long time. We will also have group discussions. We will divide ourselves into 4 groups, and in those 4 groups, we will set questions that we will be looking at, and the questions will be about what we have already learned. It's like it will be a sharing. We'll be sharing with each other what we have been going through, what we have learned, and how we would want to make it better for ourselves. Because remember, what you share here, what you talk about, mostly is about how you're practicing in your school. So As you talk about how you are in your school, the other people or the other person gets something better. They check what you're doing and they borrow something from you. So in that group discussion, we will not take a very long time. You can see it's going to be a very short one. It will just take 15 minutes in the group. And after those 15 minutes, we'll come back to the plenary. And once we come back to the plenary, we will have every group will be given 12 minutes to say what is it that they have discussed in their group. Then we will have time to discuss the extended learning activity. And we will discuss it the way I've seen you discuss with Mr. Barkoang, you sharing. How is this extended learning activity supposed to look like? And so just as I had started, we talked about the psychosocial support for learners. Remember, by the end of the day, whether learners are learning or not learning, it all depends on how are they growing in that school, socially, cognitively, how are they growing? How are we supporting them? We as teachers, how are we supporting the learners? Because history will judge us depending on who is it that we take out there. How are they? And remember, why do we say that the teachers are the biggest psychosocial support that the learners have? They're coming from their homes. Their homes have different issues. Every home is different. And so even when they come to the school, they're coming carrying their baggages. And once they come in, who is receiving them? It is you, the head teacher. The teachers will receive them, but depends on what support are you giving them. So we'll look at that. We will just discuss that. We'll go back to it and see what are the areas that we need to put in place. Because we cannot just call it psychosocial support for learners, and we do not have anything that is put in place. And that is why for you and I, we got first to understand what is psychosocial support. So that from there, we sit down and see how is it that we need to support the learners and check. What is it that you have in your school? You could be having a lot of resources from the teachers, from the learners, and then you see what is it that we are doing. From there, we look at school health and safety. Remember, we've said, what is the health of the learners? How safe are they? How secure are they? How safe are, it's all about the whole school setup. Do the learners feel safe there? Do the workers feel safe? Do the teachers feel safe? Does everyone feel safe when they're in that school? Do we look at the issues of health in that school? Issues of water, issues of food? When it comes to the government bringing in the issues of deworming, vaccination, what part are we playing in all this? Again, it is about, we also be looking at staff management. How do we manage staff? And I think this is the hardest job that every head teacher has, managing the staff. And you're managing them because by the end of the day, it's about quality education. And so for them to be able to get the quality education, it means the two issues above must be taken care of, be it for the learners, be it for the teachers, be it for every other person who is working in that school. And then that is where you come and ask yourself, what is my role? What do I need to do in staff management? How do I make it easy for myself and for every other person? And so we will go now we will move to our groups, because all this is just something we have already worked on. Hakuna haja ya kurudia. Let us now discuss candidly, depending on where we are, our schools, the issues around our schools. Remember, an issue that is shared, solution huwa imeanza kupatikana. So as we talk about it, it's like we are telling ourselves we are getting solutions for whatever is happening in the area. Don't forget, our areas are different. Our areas are different. Geographically, we are different. Again, our schools are also different. What one school is going through is not what the other school is going through. And even when we are doing all this, let us not forget the fact that we are still talking about our learners in junior school. And we know how they came in. Some are still hung up on what the expectations were. Teachers are still grappling with the designs, grappling with these learners who are now called junior school learners, and somehow they look different, they behave different, and all these. It calls for you as the head of the institution to see what you can do. So let us share candidly, and so that by the end of the day, we will have we'll have a child who can go out there in the society, and we can say there's something that we have done that talks to that child, that gives us the citizen we are looking for in Kenya. And Sam, take us to our groups. So colleagues, we are now getting to our groups. Once we get there, please get a leader of the group. After you get the leader, get a secretary, such that the leader takes us through. Then the secretary is the one who writes what we are talking about and is the person who will do the presentation. Okay, group one. Once you get into your group, you will identify challenges that learners in your school might face that could impact on their well-being and successful transition into junior school. What are we saying? Where are these learners coming from? What are the issues they are grappling with? What are the issues that they have? And how would they impact their successful work in junior school, their successful work in junior school? And so we will expect these challenges to come out clearly, because we know where our learners are coming from and who they are. Group two, you will identify strategies that a school leader can employ to effectively foster support. Identify strategies that a school leader can employ to effectively foster a supportive psychosocial environment, enhancing the well-being and successful transition of learners in junior schools. So what are we looking at? The strategies you as a leader, you can use. What is it that you've been using? What is it that you have brought in so that you are able to support your learners? You are able to give an environment that supports the learners to enhance their well-being. And so once they're in junior school, they're able to transition comfortably or transition well. Group three, you have a case study there. That one of Sahara. And I will read it so that by the time you go there, you're already getting the idea. Sahara, the new head teacher of the head of institution at Mazuri Junior School, discovers that the new school building is in poor condition, suffering from inadequate ventilation and insufficient toilet facilities. Additionally, there is a notable lack of consistent adherence to health protocols, including hand washing and sanitation practices among students and staff. What immediate steps can Sahara take to address the critical health and safety issues at Mazuri Junior School? So just look at the areas: poor ventilation in the schools, insufficient toilet facilities, hand washing, health protocols. Look at all that, and then you see, what is it? If you were Sahara, what would you do? So address what Sahara did with what was happening in that school. And group four, we are looking at how can you as a school leader effectively empower and support school staff to enhance collaboration, professional development, and job satisfaction. How can you as a school leader effectively empower and support school staff to enhance collaboration? How would they work pamoja? How would the school staff collaborate as they they work. Professional development, check. How would you check the areas that require professional development? And then job satisfaction, because we know a lot of it comes from teacher management and worker management. And we would want you to talk about how you would enhance staff collaboration, professional development, and job satisfaction. So those are the few areas we'll be looking at. They're just 4. The groups will be 4. And after 15 minutes of discussion, we will come back to the plenary. And now we will be listening to what is it that you have talked about. What have you told, what have you shared with each other? So let's go to our groups. When you get to the groups, unmute and please share. Don't get lost. Once you get lost, come back, rejoin, and you'll be able to work together. So 4 groups, 4 groups.
You're moving back to the main
hello
session. Yeah,
the main
back.
hello hello
Yes, yes, it's okay.
hello
Elijah.
I have tried to raise my hand in group 1, but
the time is up. Time is up. You will give your points in the chat when group 1 is presenting. You can add your comments on the chat kindly.
the chat high enrollment and so.
Welcome back to the plenary. We are now back together, and I can attest to the fact that the discussions were candid. They were quite educative, informative, and I'm sure anyone who has taken them seriously, you can attest to the fact that people are serious about what they were talking about, and those are the heads of institutions. They're talking about actually what is happening on the ground. And without wasting any more time, I will call group 1 to come in, and they take us through what they have come up with, and their question. I'll bring it back. I'll bring it up. Yes, that is the activity that they were looking at, and it is okay. I would like to allow them to come in. The leader of the group 1. Group 1, please.
I think Ruth is presenting on our behalf.
Hiya, Ruth. Ruth, karibu. Ruth from group 1. Group 1 members, Ruth.
Yes, I'm in.
Sawa, Ruth, take us through.
Can you hear me?
Kabisa.
Okay, I'm Golly Ruth, and I'm in group 1, and I'm the secretary to that group. So we have come up with some points, and some of these points are peer pressure, that is encountering new social dynamics, and pressures can cause stress and anxiety among the learners. There is also the issue of bullying. Somebody has talked about bullying. That is those learners in grade 8 or in the junior school, bullying the ones, remember this junior school is domiciled in primary. So they can, the ones in junior school can bully the ones in primary. There is also the issue of increased academic expectations
the transition often comes with a higher level of academic thing, which can be overwhelming. And there is also the issue of lack of support from the parents. Remember, the parents have a negative attitude towards this new curriculum, that is CPC. And actually the issue of CPC needs parental support, and some of our parents, they don't give that support. So that is also a challenge. There is also the issue of uncertainty. Remember, these learners who are in grade 8, they don't know what they await them because of different teaching styles, that is adapting to new teaching methods or expectations can be a challenge for some students or learners. And there is also the issue of homework load. Managing a heavier homework load can cause stress and affect the child's time for rest and play. Also, the issue of new learning areas. Remember, when these learners were in grade 6, before they transited to junior school, they were handling, or they were taught different learning areas from the ones they are handling now in junior school. So it is also a challenge. And I think I can also, that's all I have, and I can also invite other members to contribute.
Thank you, Ruth. Other members of the group, please. Feel free.
Langat.
Yes,
Hello?
Langat.
Yes, Langat, you can come in. Maybe there is something I left out.
One is 102.1 is high enrollment.
High enrollment.
And then insecurity at home area. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Grace, there is also the issue of infrastructure. Remember, these learners, there is integrated science, and the laboratories are required. And in primary, we don't have laboratories. So we still have a challenge on that area.
Can I also add on something, please?
Yes, please.
We still have a challenge on in some of the schools where we were having grade 1 to 8. I mean, grade 1 to 8 initially. Now the challenge, extra class to accommodate grade 9 for next year is a challenge. The other issue is about the general attitude towards the curriculum-based education or curriculum-based, competency-based curriculum or competency-based education. We have in some quarters, you still find some parents, some other stakeholders not comfortable with the new system of education.
True.
Which will affect our learners eventually. Thank you.
Another person, please.
Yes, there's this other point. I don't know whether it was mentioned about the teachers, lack of preparedness.
Yes, John.
Lack of preparedness in the case of the teachers in some learning areas. They may have some challenges and may not be able to deal with the learning area well.
Okay.
Some specific learning areas. Yes.
Thank you, John. Another person, please. From any other group, does not have to be only that group, any other group?
Okay, may I also add one?
Yes, Sami?
Yes. In the case of teachers in our schools,
yes,
we may be having teachers, maybe, for example, in my station, I have teachers who were posted to my school. Both of them are teaching CRE. So we have some challenges in handling other learning areas like mathematics, sciences, because the two teachers are they were trained to teach CRE and Kiswahili.
Okay.
So I'm saying the staffing position is also another challenge in our schools, meaning that some learning areas are not catered for.
Yes. And please react to the group. Thank you so much, Group 1, for what you've taken us through. Any one of us, please let us react. Let us react. Tuwashukuru kwa yale wameyafanya. I'm waiting for that. Clap for them. Yes, Charles Kurgat is raising his hand. Ama, you're saying they have done well?
Yes, that's a way of saluting them.
Oh, okay. Charles has saluted you, Group 1. Yeah, Tanui has also saluted them. Okay, Julius Tanui has also saluted you, Group 1. Yani hakuna mtu apiga makofi apart from the salute.
Clapping has refused. I don't know why.
Sawa, thank you. Clapping has refused and it is okay. So Group 1, at least you know you have been appreciated. Hata kama clapping has refused, you've been appreciated. I will put a caution on this one where we have we were talking about. Even if I'll give it to us, the final ed, we now start thinking. Group 1, start thinking. With all these challenges we have talked about, what do you do as a head of institution? What is it that you do to ensure that these challenges are surmounted? Thank you so much. Group 2, come in. And you are identifying strategies that a school leader can employ to effectively foster a supportive psychosocial environment, enhancing the well-being and successful transition of learners in junior school. Let's hear those strategies. Group 2.
Thank you. I'm Nebat Agutaga. I doubled as the secretary of the group.
Yes, Nebat.
I'm briefly going to take you through the strategies that we are able to identify. One, we mentioned that the group mentioned that one of the strategies is establishing of non-formal education, where we have things like CU programs, clubs, and societies. Number 2, we mentioned that another strategy would be, it would be important to do community service learning. Number 3, establishing guidance and counseling in the school. Number 4, we mentioned that parental engagement and involvement would be another strategy where parents are encouraged to guide their learners while at home. Then we talked of also inviting motivational speakers who would be allowed to speak on various topics. We talked of rewarding learners to also be a strategy, rewarding learners with good conduct and behavior. And another strategy, we also said that it would be important to create child-friendly schools. And then we also encouraged, we talked of number 8, encouraging mentorship programs. I don't know whether the group has, the other members have other things, other points you can add to the same.
Yeah, thank you, Nebat. Thank you so much. Group members, something to add? I know the whole group now.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Grace. Maybe we can also study the background of these learners. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Getting you.
Okay. Could be we should also be aware of their background, learners' background.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Another person from the plenary? What else? What are the other strategies from the group? Have they exhausted all the strategies that we can use? What other strategies are there? Because according to group 2, we've been told that there are some things that we need to be thinking about, and they have talked about us thinking about clubs and societies. What are these clubs and societies that you're talking about? Nebat. Nebat or any other member of the group?
Club, hello?
Yes, Edward.
Yes, clubs and societies, for example, 4K club and the environmental club can assist the learners.
In how will they assist them? Elaborate, please.
It will support their social aspects in the learners. I think the learners will develop the interest of doing this, that encouraging them to be in school. Because of the societies that have been formed in schools.
And I'll ask you, Edward, are those clubs still there, the 4K clubs, are they still active in our schools?
They are there, but I think they are not too active. They exist in paper, but the work itself is non-existent.
Oh, they're there on paper, but they're not existing.
Yeah, some of the schools are in paper.
And Charles, what are you saying? I'm seeing you saying something. I'm hearing you say something.
My station has an active 4K club. I can invite you to visit me.
Edward, you have been invited by Charles. Go visit his 4K club. And as he says, most of them are there on paper. Many of them are dead. And why was I bringing this issue? Is because if that 4K club is not there, it is on paper. How do we make it come up? How do we start? What are the strategies that I will use as a head teacher to make the club work? And now I'm taking you back again, Herbert. What is this community service learning?
Community service learning. Sorry,
yes.
I'm not happy.
Herbert, Nabat, or any member from the group?
Yes, community service learning.
Yes, Samson.
Yeah. Now, on the issue of community service learning, this is a kind of learning where we want to teach our children to support both the people and the environment where where the school is situated. For example, we identify some environmental challenges that we can mitigate as a school. We can as well maybe identify a disabled person around the school, or an old person, or a sick person, and assist. Now, for the issue of the clubs and societies in schools,
yes,
actually, it is deplorable to note that some of the challenges that we are facing in our schools now emanate from the fact that our teachers have not left. They are still having the hangovers of the former education system, where they just left the clubs and all that. Otherwise, as we try to bring them, provide leadership in our schools so that they can pick up very good clubs like 4K club, the environmental clubs, the health clubs, we are trying to bring them and trying to sensitize them, trying to involve them so that they see the need and try to introduce that kind of paradigm shifts in their minds so that they would see that we are in a different educational dispensation, so that they can accept to work with the new system of education.
Wow, thank you, Samson. He is telling us that we are still hung up on the old system of education, and it was always about the mean grade and the mean mark that we are getting. And so we killed the clubs in the process of getting the grades, because everything else went to academics. And I like what he has said, that it is upon us as the head teachers to lead the way. It's us to show the way. It's us to show whether these clubs are there or not. And thank you so much for that, Sam. Again, you talked a lot. You've shared about community service learning, and I would want us as a head teachers to think about this. Are we talking about community service, or are we talking about community service learning? By the time you're finishing, I will want one of us to tell us the difference between community service and community service learning. And before I conclude for group 2, let someone tell us something about guidance and counseling. It came out very strongly. Nebat and the group. Or any other person, guidance and counseling? No, but I will still come back to you. I will want to hear more about guidance and counseling, because I believe in it, and I believe it is key, and I will still... Oh, Elijah, sema kitu, Langat. Sema kitu before I get group 3.
Yes,
Madam Chair.
Hello?
Yes, Elijah, say something, yes.
What of the establishment of functional children's government?
Yes.
Establishing functional children's government.
Okay, establishing functional students' government.
Yes.
Thank you. That is something that can work. In fact, it is one of the strategies that we need to have. So tunaongeza hiyo kwa strategies. Thank you for bringing it to group 2. Group 2, ongezeni hiyo kwa yale mlokuwa mmeyasema.
Thank you.
Helen, you are saying something? Was it Helen or Ruth? Ruth.
I'm Ruth. Yes.
Yes, Ruth. You are saying something?
Also, guidance and counseling can assist in tackling the issue of bullying, as I said earlier.
Yes.
And also in actually helping these learners to have a positive attitude towards the curriculum.
Yes.
Guiding them that the CBC is there to stay.
Yeah.
Because it has been rolled out and no turning back.
Sawa. Thank you for that. We will still come back to you when you are closing. Let's now give this chance to group 3. Group 3, kwanza pole sana kwa kuwa swali lenu halikuwepo, and it came like 2 minutes late, but I'm sure you still did something. Karibu group 3. Group 3.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Emily.
I'm Emily Cheria, the secretary of Group 3. Our question was on the case study of this school known as Masuri, where the school has various challenges. We are seeing the buildings with poor ventilation, suffering from inadequate ventilation, insufficient toilets. There is an issue of lack of hand washing and poor sanitation. And this is what we came up with. First, the first thing is to involve the main stakeholders. And these main stakeholders here are the learners, the teachers, and even the non-teaching staff.
Yes.
We are involving the learners in the issue of hand washing and sanitation. And this is where the learners, with the guidance of the teachers, can do it well. We saw the other time when we had a problem of corona, the the hand washing facilities were put in place. And in most of the schools, those hand washing facilities are still there. And if they are not there, the learners even can, with the leadership of the teachers, can do it well. So the hand washing materials to be put in place.
Yeah.
Children to know the importance of living in a healthy community and taking care of themselves. Then in the issue of these classrooms with poor ventilation, it is good for the school leader to convince the POM meeting to discuss the issue. And even parents to be invited to the school to see for themselves and to be sensitized on the importance of good classrooms with good ventilation, which is a healthy learning environment. And even to see the importance of making their school a learners-friendly environment.
Yeah.
So with these parents and the board, they can discuss on the issues on where to solicit the fund. And with the guidance of the board, the school leader could write a proposal to the NGCDF and even invite whoever in the office to come to the school to see the emergency. And with this proposal, the school head should be having the artifacts, the photos of how the school is, so that it could make it, so that the CDF could see the reality.
Yeah.
And the Ministry of Education also should be invited and even be informed of how the school is quite pathetic.
Okay.
On that issue of sanitation and
Yes.
hand wash, the learners here, the empowerment of children government should be put in place. And through these learners and their government, they are the ones to lead. And they are the ones to lead the others on such issues. We have the guidance and counseling team.
Yeah.
The teachers this one should be very much functional, being led by the team to see how the school is pathetic, to teach them, to guide the learners on health, cleanliness, and even to sensitize the whole society so that they will come up to assist the school. I think those are the points that we put in place. We were caught up with time, but the whole issue should be reinforced and sensitized. Even the alumni of the school could be invited to the school to come in and aid to solicit the funds. Because the issue of insufficient toilets can attract the public health that the school could be closed. So to avoid all this mess, everybody should come in and assist the school to look nice, because in such an institution, learning actually is, I don't know if learning would go well, and the goals, the visions, and the main thing could not be achieved without these things being put in place. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Any other person to assist our group?
Okay, I'm
Betty. Betty nakuona.
Okay, I'm thinking of maybe the invitation of the health officials so that they can talk more on health issues concerning the hand washing and its importance. Yeah, yes.
Thank you, Betty, for that. Any other person assisting the group? Any other person to tell us something? on what this head teacher needs to do? Thank you so much, Group 3. Guys, appreciate, clap, say something. But thank you for that we've done in Group 3, and we've seen that there are many things. And when we're looking at the steps, the first thing we are telling ourselves, we need to sit down. We need to sit down as a school and make a decision. Because even if we are going to involve the stakeholders, we have to sit and also check who are our stakeholders, because we cannot just just invite everyone. We first map our stakeholders. And I think that is where we started from. When we talked about involving stakeholders, it's about mapping the stakeholders and knowing them, knowing what is it that, who are our stakeholders. And again, if they are our stakeholders, how do we involve them? How do we bring them on? What is it that they need to bring in the school? What do the learners bring in? The parents, the political body around us, everyone else. Just map your stakeholders, and we see what is it that we can do with those stakeholders. Again, writing proposals. That's what you have said. We write proposals. Lazima tujue namna ya kuandika. It is, we got to teach ourselves. How do we write that proposal? We are writing it based on what? What do we say in that proposal? And it can be very good, especially if it is going to CDA, to NGCDF, and we know what they can do and what is it that they need to bring to the school. I've liked this one of the health officers can close down the school. It is true. A school can be closed down, especially this one. Nasikia poor ventilation. Choo hazitoshi, hawaoshi mikono. Hata ukiangalia, see, it needs to be closed down. So, do you know many of our schools are like this? They're at this level. In Kenya, most of our public schools are at this level. And I like the way that group has brought it out very well. Group 4, sorry. Group 4, last but not least, Group 4.
Okay, Group 4. I'm Cherono Masai.
Yes, Cherono.
Presenting the question on how can you as a school leader effectively empower and support school staff to enhance collaboration. That is Roman number 1, collaboration. Then collaboration, the points we've come up with as a group is that we need to form what we call subject panels. This will allow teachers to work together. Also, foster collaborative culture. That is staff meetings. And then during these staff meetings, allow teachers to raise their issues openly. We can also have something called team teaching. There is also what is called pool marking and sharing. That is because we need to share things in our school because we lack resources. So that one will enhance collaboration. Then point number 2, that is Roman number 2, is professional development in our schools. We need to offer professional learning opportunities in our school as leaders. And these learning opportunities, we include workshops, seminars, courses that is relevant to teachers' needs. That one will build our professionals in our schools. Encourage also collaboration, that is team planning, peer observation, and sharing best practices. And then another point is that you provide time and resources for our teachers. Allocate time in school for professional development activities where teachers can meet in groups and discuss on how they are supposed to do their schemes of work, how they are supposed to plan. This one will encourage the newly recruited teachers. We also have what we call mentorship coaching. That means experienced teachers or staff members are supposed to support and guide the less experienced teachers. Encourage what we call reflection. Staff to set goals and then assess their progress and adjust their strategies. This one will promote learning in our schools, and you will find that all the subjects are balanced and improved. Then the last one, that is job satisfaction. We have what we call, or as a teacher or a leader, you need to foster a positive work environment. That is conducive environment where staff members will enjoy and be happy as they do their work. Provide also clear communication. As a leader, be very transparent and have what we call open communication, so that in case of anything, nobody will say, I didn't get it well. I didn't know that it was supposed to be like this. So you need to be very clear when you are passing information. Okay, this one, school goals and expectations and changes will be very clear and improved. Then recognize and reward achievements. So when a teacher performs well or portrays an effort in any activity, make sure you reward that teacher with any small token of appreciation, and the teacher will feel motivated and work will continue well. That is what we discussed as Group 4, and we are very grateful.
Yes, Cherono, thank you so much. Thank you, Group 4. And I want to throw the banner back to you guys of Group 4. We have talked a lot about the teachers. We've not mentioned anything about the support staff, and they're still part and parcel of the school. And so I'm wondering, when it comes to collaboration, what is it as a group now, sisi tukiwa wote? What is it as a group that we think we can do in order to empower and support the staff that is in collaboration? Anyone, before we task the group more, anyone who has something to add on that for the other staff? Not now for the teachers, for the other members of staff, the support staff. And anyone can say something in collaboration.
Hello, this is Samson.
Yes, Samson.
For the support staff, I first want to applaud Sister for that wonderful presentation. I would, with your permission, say the same recognition that was extended to the teaching staff, where it is applicable for the support staff, they should also be recognized for the outstanding performance. And then we should, as school leaders, develop parameters which will assist us in recognizing efforts, in rewarding the efforts, so that we don't become subjective, we become objective in everything that we do. So that may not look like we are rewarding some given, probably people associated to the school leadership or favors rather than reward earned by the teaching and the non-teaching staff. Equally, when children taught by our teachers are also recognized, because it will kind of communicate results of the good work done. When you reward, when you recognize a student, let's say in grade 7 or in grade 8, for performing so well in art and craft, for example, then the teacher in that particular subject would feel satisfied in a way. That is
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samson. Thank you so much. Emily Cheruyot, your hand is up. Emily. Emily Cheruyot.
Yes, madam. Thank you very much.
I am seeing the hand up here. Say something.
Let me also put an implement on how to collaborate the non-support staff.
Yes.
These non-support staff are part of the community, the school.
Yes.
And they happy the way teachers are. So these support staff, if there are some welfares like merry-go-round, they should also be part of the team of the school. So that whenever there is something, a welfare in a school,
they are part and parcel of the school.
Yeah. For example, when there is a teacher who is going on transfer or retirement, even these support staff also, when they are retiring, or maybe
something
when
should be done.
Yeah, to encourage them and to motivate them also.
And
Thank you.
gives a good picture to the other people once it is done for everyone.
Yes.
And the last one I would want to find out is, when it comes to professional development, what do we do with the support staff? Just one issue. What do we do? And I'm seeing Paul. Paul, your hand is up. Kapketonyi. Say something, Paul. Or any other person, as Paul is trying to unmute himself. Professional development. My time is up, so say something very fast. Matthew Bore.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I want to say we need also to consider maybe even supporting them to go for short courses.
Yes.
If we have maybe some training elsewhere, we need to support them maybe by paying them to go for such trainings.
Yes.
In fact, they should really enjoy like the other stuff.
Yes, thank you.
I want to believe there's some other institution that they can even cover them maybe the current training skills.
Yes.
It's a matter of security. And if it maybe somebody who is assisting us to cook, they can also maybe told the safety of how to handle food.
Yes.
In fact, they should attend these other courses like any other staff.
Okay.
So that they can also grow professionally.
Thank you, Matthew. I didn't want us to talk just about the teachers and leave the support staff out. So a big clap for all the groups, and I want to see the reactions. Let's look at the reactions. Matthew, bore mkono chini so that we can now react.
Thank you.
Tushukuru group zote na tuanze na group 4 sababu tulikuwa tumeshukuru wale wengine isipokuwa group 4. Let's say something, let's encourage them. Are we doing that? Are we doing that? Thank you for those reactions. And it is good for all of us, and it means where we are, we are telling ourselves that it calls for us. We are the leaders. And there's an issue that I have found very interesting is how we empower the school staff, what we need to do in order to empower the school staff. And I like something Samson has said. Establish parameters. Because in some areas of work, like a cook, you cannot say that amepika vizuri leo, kapika vizuri jana, so we are rewarding you. Have parameters of how do they perform their work, so that when we reward, we are rewarding performance depending on what are the parameters that we have put. What are the parameters that we have put in place? What is it that we are telling ourselves we want to be looking at? So thank you so much for that. And I feel that we have moved on very well, and now we are coming to the end of our work. We are coming to the end of the learning, and we got to look at our extended learning activity. And in this one, I want to hear, even before we say how it should look like, I want to hear, what is it that you have you have put in place? What is it that you have written down? Any one of us? What have you put down? Unmute and tell us something. Prepare a one-term psychosocial support plan for learners and staff in the school, indicating the role of the school leader in the plan.
Okay, I am Betty.
Yes, Betty.
Okay, for psychosocial support for staff and learners. In week 1 to 3, I'll be dealing with mental health, education awareness, and professional development. That is week 1 to 3.
Yes.
And the role of the head teacher there will be to promote mental health and awareness. That is for staff and learners. Between week 4 and 6, I'll be doing counseling services to the staff.
Yes.
With the help of even the outside counselors. I'll also
Yes.
do individual and group counseling to staff and learners. Now, the
Okay.
role of the leader there is to provide emotional and psychological, psychosocial support.
Okay.
I also have plans for week 7 and 9, week 10 to 12, and week 13 to 14.
Okay.
Yes, yes, that is it.
Thank you so much, Betty. Thank you so much. And I want to still take you back. I still want to take you back a little, Betty.
Yes.
You as the head of the institution.
Yes.
After you've put this one down.
Yes.
What are you required to do? Even when it comes to guidance and counseling, is it actually you, the leader, who is going to do it?
Okay.
Food for thought.
Okay, food for thought, but I still can invite a speaker.
Yes.
Who can handle the same.
Thank you, Betty. Any other person? Another person? Let me hear from another person.
Yes, let me, with your permission, say that one of the greatest, some of the few schools that I've had that I did my thing, that they are above my school.
Yes.
The few that I have visited, there is one great lesson I've learned.
Yeah.
That those who are doing well are the schools that are school leaders who delegate. And once they delegate, they don't applicate, they make a follow.
Yes.
So I would really say that the success of this psychosocial support would fall or rise at the point of delegation and follow-up that is made.
Thank you.
So that the school is not only about the school leader himself. We create other leaders within the school, someone to be in charge of guidance and counseling, someone to be in charge of clubs and societies, and within the same, which specific club or which specific society is under who. Then you develop a program where you will be visiting them and checking on how they are doing, and then you'll be now pick areas of reward, areas of support, Then at the end of the day, every small sector within the school will be succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samson. Yeah, Samson has also given us his area on and how he wants to work on it and how he delegates, and after delegation, he's still got to give himself a role of what he needs to do. Any other person? Any other person? One person to share what you have worked on, because you've already worked on it. It is like we are marking. You've already worked on it. So I will take it up from there. And what are we saying? From what I have I've gathered from us and what we are doing, one, before we go to the last slide, develop a plan. These plans, there is none that is generic. It comes from you. It is you to know the area that you need to be working on. One of the areas that is going to inform us so much on the issues that we need to be checking with our learners is what was discussed by Group 1. When you check what was discussed by Group 1, they talked a lot about the challenges that the learners are facing. And when you talk about these challenges that the learners are facing, it already means that these are areas that are contentious, and the areas we would want to be thinking about, even without going very far. The issues we discussed, and I'll give an example, we talked about peer pressure, we talked about bullying, we talked about lack of support from parents, we talked about teaching methods of the teachers, or the new teaching methods for the CBE, we talked about insecurity, we talked about infrastructure. Those are topics that we can have an idea of what we can be looking at. If it is like a peer pressure, you've already realized that your learners in junior school have an issue of peer pressure. So let's say this is week one. Week one, I write the topic, peer pressure. After that, I write about the activities. What are the activities that we need to do around peer pressure? Maybe one of the activities will be a teacher to discuss with learners what peer pressure is, a teacher to help the learners write down issues that come from peer pressure. What is it that they are going through that could be an issue of peer pressure? Then when it comes to another column, maybe we'll just like the column of the role of the head teacher. And in that role of the head teacher, you write what is it that you need to provide. And maybe what you need to provide in this one is you provide the teaching materials to the teachers, provide the time for the teachers, provide support. It is you to look at what support you can give. Otherwise, when we write that it is me who will do this, you might find that the work of a head teacher is a lot. You'll be overwhelmed. And that's why you'll follow the story of Samson. Samson has told us that we delegate, do a lot of delegation, because with this delegation, we will see what we are able to do. I'll give an example of a generic plan. This is generic, totally generic. Doesn't mean that this is what you follow. In this one, we have week one. And what are we going to do in week one? We are going to have our topic, self-awareness. Just leave it at self-awareness. Why do we require it? You give the objective. Why maybe you want to enhance self-understanding of the learners to understand themselves. What is the activity the teacher taking the learners through? What is the teacher going to do? What activity? Maybe the teacher to introduce the topic, to train learners on daily journaling, that is writing down what is going on. Then the learners to identify and write down in their journal personal strengths and growth areas. So that is in week one. Ongeza column nyingine after activity. And in that other column, the role of the head teacher. We know all this that the teacher will be doing is you, but you've delegated. So you maybe there, the last column when you talk about the role of the head teacher is provide guidance on how this should be done. That's enough. We have already seen your role and we have seen what role have you given the teachers, and what you've given the teacher is your role, but you have delegated. So it can have very many formats, but mostly our active terms are 8 weeks. The most active part will be like 8 weeks. So have something like 8 weeks and see what you can do in week one. It can be week 1 and 2, this is what we do. Week 3 and 4, this is what we do. Or even week 1, 2, and 3. Just form something like this, have that table, halafu ukimaliza piga picha and upload it. That is what we are calling our extended learning activity, and it can use in any format. This is just an example. We can have very many examples of the columns that you want to put, depending on the activities that you want to put in. Once again, colleagues, there's a lot that you need to look at. There's a lot that we still need to tell ourselves. And the talk that we have had in those groups, let the talk not end here. And especially the one we've said that we have forgotten clubs and societies. Tumesema, we are still hung up on what was happening in the former system. Wake up, get out of the former system and see what you can do. All this is important. Parental engagement, parental empowerment is important, but do it your way. It is you who knows what you require and what is expected of you in your school. Once again, thank you so much for those discussions. They were quite informative, and they make us feel in this review, actually there's something happening on the ground. I remember we said, when this one we are working on moves on, it trickles down to the child of Kenya. Thank you so much. Let me welcome back my TL to take us to complete this. Bwana Barkoang.
Thank you. Thank you, Daktari. Honorable Daktari. Thank you, members. You've really done a lot. And I realize you're also equally expert in this field. And I appreciate we are listening and we are interacting with practitioners. And therefore, colleagues, there is more that we can still go and do, and the beneficiary is our learner. Now, we've come to the end of our today's session, and we are quite privileged in our forum that our CEO, Dr. Otondo, is with us, and we want him to give us his remarks. And he has been with us. Possibly you had not noticed, but he appreciated the way you have participated, and he might have something to say. So let me welcome our CEO, Dr. Otondo, KEMI CEO, so that he can make his remarks. Then we can conclude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the coordinator, for the team. I'm glad to be here this afternoon, having effectively participated in the whole undertaking from the early morning hours to this point. And indeed, I would really want to appreciate the values that you have embraced in this very important program. I've gotten to realize that you have it within you as the school leaders. You've shared very pertinent and crucial concerns as a concern this particular program. And indeed, you also appreciate the fact that we could have everything in place, but if you are not in place physically, mentally, and competency-wise, then we'll not be able to realize the goals of our education in the country. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for braving this weekend to be in this program, and more particularly for nothing but for the good of our children and for the good of our country. I know you've been in a journey, and progressively you have appreciated the very program. You have acquired the very necessary skills and competencies to handle some of the disturbing contemporary issues, matters to do with the mental health, which has just been concluded now. These are key concerns which actually interfere with our delivery of education programs. So I want to urge all of you to take all these issues discussed more seriously and embed them in your leadership program in our institution of learning. Bring forth the teachers together solidly and profoundly, bring forth the students so as to transform them into what we expect as the sector, and so as to put in place a more and massive transformation for the good of our country. Without much ado, I can see time is running out. We are almost, we are beyond one, and a lot of good learning has taken place. I want to allow you to take your time and digest at a personal level and at a group level in your community of practice, continue learning and sharing so as to do the good for the very purpose for which you have gathered here. I want to wish you the very best for the weekend as we purpose to close tomorrow and enjoy the better part of the day. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Let us virtually give our CEO the claps virtually.
I'm counting. Andrew B has not clapped. Where's Andrew B? I can see. Okay, this is great. Andrew B, I'm waiting for your claps. Look for the icon. Andrew B.
He's struggling.
But I can see on his face he has actually appreciated. I can see on his face. Thank you, team. You now embraced high levels of ICT skills. I can see it. Having
Yes.
enjoyed the online delivery, it is so great. Thank you very much, team.
Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you.
Thank you, our CEO. It is a blessing to be, and I think this is the blessed group. Kericho team, I think this must be a reward because you are the leading team. So we are leading by having even the CEO. Thank
you, Farquhar,
yeah,
for
he
having
chose to be here because of your effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So can we have a volunteer to close our meeting today with a prayer?
Okay, this is Samson. Let me pray.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you, gracious Lord, for being with us since the inception of this wonderful program. Lord, we want to ask you to be with us as we prepare for tomorrow's session. May your strength and love abound in us, in our schools, in the children that we teach, in their parents, and even to the country and KME at large. Lord, we thank you for the donors and the partners partnering with the Ministry of Education Kenya. Lord, we thank you for your grace and for your love. For this is our prayer in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.